Say it with me, for we walk by faith, not by sight.
Hey guys, welcome to Cheap Old Cars and Corners. Today we're going to talk about this car, but before we get into that, check out the merch store and like and subscribe. Like the video only if you like it, but go ahead and hit subscribe so you got to see more and know if you like them too, right? Check out the merch store, link in bio and in this video description, takes you out to Shopify. Got some retro shirts, got a few different designs, always adding more designs and doing different things. So yeah, buy a shirt if you want to support the channel. It'll help out and I'd appreciate it a lot. Thanks guys. Let's get to it. Hey everyone, welcome to Cheap Old Cars and Corners. I have had the flu. It made me horrible, and then I got better, and then I got worse. It's been bad. So I'm back, finally making videos after like 2 weeks I've been gone. It's been ridiculous. Blue Bullet, we're back on the Blue Bullet here. I love this car. It's great. I don't know if you guys will be able to see inside of it here. I've got my Corbeau seats and my Momo steering wheel, got the MGW shifter, all the things that I like so much that make it a pleasant car to drive. But the green Bullet is on its factory springs with the front isolators removed. And I always, when I talk about drops, okay, everything is from a GT because that's how all springs are advertised, is how much would it drop a GT. And so a Bullet is 3/4 of an inch lower than a GT. And I took the front isolators out, which got me 3/8 of an inch more. 3/8 plus 3/4, so 3/4 is 6/8. That's 9/8, that's an inch and an eighth. And so that's like a basic drop spring, a little over an inch. That's, you know, not really that low. But I think the front of them looks really good. I like how it sits. I don't ever really worry about rubbing anything or hitting anything under the car. This car I do. If I was going for purely looks, this car would sit lower than this. This is on H&R Super Sport springs, which is like 1.7 in the front, 1.6 in the rear. You would have trouble replicating this without getting more parts. And so I don't remember exactly, but I have some isolators removed in the front. And then in the rear, I have the Maximum Motorsports adjustable control arms. So I have the rear just, you know, up a little bit from where it was with just those springs. And it's a specific ride height that I think looks pretty good, but it's a compromise. And that's something that I'm not a fan of. Now, I do like tailoring things to be more specific to what I like to do. So, you know, you take like a Mustang GT and it sits up high and it's floaty and everything. And I want to make it handle better. So I'm going to drop it. I'm going to put some different things on it that make it corner better, right? Stiffen the chassis, lower, stiffer springs. I like seats. Seats are a must with these cars. You know, this one had the Bullet seats in it, which are better than GT seats, but I run into an issue. I like taking this car out. I like driving it. You guys, if you've seen the channel, you've seen me out cornering in this thing. And I did something. I started to make a video while I was sick, and it kind of pushed me in a different direction because I was already thinking this a little bit anyway, but it really pushed me in that direction. And that was, I was going out to show sustained G-forces in corners, okay? Basically to show like, hey, these cars, a few mods, the whole thing that I do, the thing I've done in other videos too, where I'm just trying to prove that everyone calls these kind of garbage. They're really not. Now, on a track, pushing to, you know, 8/10, 10/10, whatever, really pushing, you're gonna see the design limitations of this suspension, okay? On the street, if you're not pushing that hard, because you shouldn't be, they can be pretty good with a few mods. That's kind of my whole thing with these Mustangs. I was going through, we have an old school cloverleaf nearby, the big loops. I was going through it, you know, long corner, pretty fast. I was getting these tires, you know, getting them squealing a little bit, and I had a problem. Because I can only go through right, the car's leaning to the left. This tire was rubbing the fender a little bit. I don't like that, okay? And it wasn't rubbing because of the bump, it was rubbing because the tire was cranked pretty hard. I was turning pretty sharp. And then I'm leaning and then hit a bump and you hear it just rubbing a little bit. To me, that is an unacceptable compromise. I know to a lot of people, this car is not low enough. And if I was going for purely looks, well, the car would be lower than this. It would be on a different set of springs that I have that drops the front end another 1/2 inch, and the rear I can do with my adjustable control arms. It would be down. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want for this car. I want it to handle well, and I don't want compromises in that handling. So I think what I'm going to do is give up some of my looks to do better handling. And this car will end up sitting more like my Bullet does, my green Bullet, or more like my Azure Blue Mach 1, my wife's car. It'll look more like that. Now, the reason for that is it's a ride height that I don't have to worry about. I'm not ever worried about going through a corner real hard or anything and hitting because it's barely lower than factory. But I also need to control the body roll, so I need to do stiffer springs, okay? I'm leaning towards right now H&R Race springs. They sit a little bit lower than a factory Bullet, so about a little over an inch lower than a GT, and they're stiffer springs than even these. I've got H&R Super Sports, like I said. I found some information that showed the H&R Super Sport rear is stiffer than their race spring. And they're progressive springs, so they start out at 1, and then as they compress, they get stiffer. So I found some information that showed the rear H&R Super Sport is stiffer than the race spring. Now, I need to verify that, and that's something I want to get into. I found a chart of all these Mustang spring rates, but I don't actually know that's right. Who knows where those people got those numbers from, and I just don't know. At some point in the future, I'm going to get a spring rate checker, which is like a press, like a hydraulic press, and then it has a gauge on it, essentially a scale. And I'm going to compress the spring down 1 inch and see what kind of pressure it took to get the spring down 1 inch. And so that way I will know for a fact what my spring rates are on my cars. And then at that point, I'm also going to want to start buying up a bunch of different springs and swapping them onto probably this car. And so that way I can say, hey, this is the actual spring rate. This is how the car actually sits. And you guys can have a good repository for information. That's kind of what I want to be on that. When I'm thinking about this car, the slightly higher ride height and the stiffer springs really is where I want to go. So the H&R Race, I think, is what I'm going to go for. Maybe the Maximum Motorsports Road and Track spring. I've seen some people online speculate that it's the same as the H&R Race, just different paint on it. I don't know. And I would really like to have the spring rate checker so I could know. The fronts, I'm pretty sure they're stiffer, okay? And so the front will sit up higher than this. I don't know if I'm gonna run isolators or not with it. I might run isolators out and see how that goes, and then put them back in if I need them. I don't envision having any rubbing issues with a roughly 1/2 inch or a higher ride height in the front. I know I'm giving up the look. I'm giving up the lowered kind of look for the cornering. And I take this car to shows some too. And I know when I go to shows, like, it's not gonna look lowered and cool or whatever. I've had people walk up to this car and go, ew, it's stock, and walk away like, oh, apparently I have to have an engine swap to go to a car show. Whatever. Where's your 20-something-year-old car, dude? Anyway, the rear springs, if I can verify, and I'm gonna actually contact H&R, and I'm gonna send them a screenshot of the spring rates I have and just say, hey, can you verify this? Because one thing I can do is instead of buying $350 for a full set, if the rear Super Sports are actually stiffer, and it makes sense that they would be stiffer because the car's actually lower, and if they're trying to create certain ride quality or certain kind of sporty feel, and the car's actually lower, they would need a stiffer spring rate to not get into the bump stops and the pinion snubber. So if I can verify those spring rates that I found online, which obviously I want to do them myself, but I'll reach out to the company and ask. If I can verify them, then on Maximum Motorsports, I could just buy a front set for like $240. And so if I just bought the front set, I've got the Maximum Motorsports adjustable rear lower control arms. I can just lift the rear up a bit and get the ride height what I want it to be. And then I've actually got a stiffer overall package than the H&R Race springs. That'd be pretty cool, right? Now, a stiffer rear spring is going to cause oversteer. You hit mid-corner bumps and different things, or you get near the limit. Having a stiffer rear setup, especially in this type of car, will cause oversteer. That's fine. You guys don't know a lot of my history. I don't have a race car history. I grew up riding four-wheelers and motorcycles, and I've done quite a bit of sliding sideways, hanging off the side of the four-wheeler, almost sitting on the engine just with one leg over, and you're just sliding around corners. I've done a lot of that. And I've done a lot of stuff in cars too, but nothing professionally. I don't have any kind of like track experience, but I live out in a rural area and I've done a lot of stuff. So I'm not super concerned about it stepping out on me in the rear because, well, it has stepped out on me in the rear before, and this car is particularly easy to catch. I know if I'm near the limit. I've got a lot of sim racing experience too. I've had Fanatic Club Sport setups and lots of sim racing stuff in iRacing. So I feel confident in my ability to, one, not push the car so hard that I'm going to slide off into a tree, and two, if I do mess up, I can catch it because I'm not going insane speeds to begin with. I'm not pulling out of a Cars and Coffee in my 450 horse Mustang with a 10-speed auto and matting it, and then it gets up into third gear and the tires are doing 100 miles an hour while the car's doing 15, and the rear end just goes around on you and you hit the tree or people or whatever. I'm not that guy. I actually somewhat sorta know how to drive. I think that'll be a really good thing for this car. I am gonna lose the look, and that is tough. It's tough because the look of this car is something I really like. I've got some pictures of it with some lower springs. I don't know if I can actually post those in this video. If I can find them, I'll put them up. But I've got pictures of it with a lower set of springs on it, and the front's really hunkered down right on the tires. Man, it looks good. It looks so good. It rode like crap, and my tires hit my fenders a bunch. I'm not one to roll my fender lips. Like, I just don't like doing that, I guess. And that kind of comes back to my no compromises thing. You know, I know that one thing you do, especially on the rear here, is I wouldn't be one to roll them, but what you can do is actually cut the fender lip off and then weld the two seams together. That's something, but that really, I mean, when you're doing stuff like that, it's not for performance. Because if you look at the actual race cars that are made from these type of things, they're not that low. When you lower the car that much, you're already having to change up your entire suspension to different types of, in the rear too. You know, a lot of people go to like the torque armor suspension, and then in the front, they're going to short, long arm, you know, double A-arm type things. Or they're drastically changing what's there, going to a coilover setup, moving the front A-arms forward, all kinds of stuff. So you're changing the suspension of the car. But even at that, when you go so low, you don't have much suspension travel left, and you're beyond anything that this car and this chassis and the designs, you know, where the stuff has to bolt on, it's beyond what that can do. It's gonna be a little bit of time before I do this. I don't want to spend the money right now. You know, I'm not some rich YouTuber. I make YouTube videos for fun. Money is what it money, you know, money's not abundant. I'll get some springs. I'll get those set springs eventually for this one. And then that'll be a fun thing to do, is putting on the different springs. You know, it'll be cool to have, if I use these Super Sport rears, it'll be pretty cool to have the H&R Race rear springs that I can then put on another car. Maybe I'll put them on the Green Bullet, or maybe I'll put them on the Blue Mach 1. I'm not sure yet. Honestly, if money were abundant, all the cars, this one would have the Cobra IRS. I would go ahead and do that just to see what that's like. All the other cars would have the Maximum Motorsports adjustable control arms in the rear, just so you can set the ride height. You walk out to the car and be like, I think it'll look good with a rake today. So, you know, lift the rear up, get up in there, crank, 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 and, you know, lift the rear up or bring the rear down. Like, you walk out to look at the car like, I want it level today. You know, it takes 5 minutes, so not hard to do. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I think we're going to do. Still working on getting a C5 Vet. That's going to happen. I want a C5 Vet. I want a 350Z. I want a bunch of cars. I got a whole list of cars from the early 2000s that are supposed to handle pretty good, right? And I want them all, so I can just do all kinds of crazy comparisons. So that's what I'm working towards. Eventually, I'll have some more cars. You know, I want an E46 M3. I want an E90, 92 M3, 350Z, 370Z. A couple more Mustangs in different flavors. I want like an auto coupe, or not coupe, an auto hatchback Corvette, I guess, coupe, whatever, that the top comes off. You know, I'd like to have an FRC manual and a Z06 manual. So in time, eventually, if I can, you know, just keep snagging one here and there as I've been doing, you know, eventually I'd like to have 15, 20 cars. Obviously, I have to come up with a place to store them. I want to get these different cars because I want to test them thoroughly and evaluate them, try to be without bias. You know, not like, well, I drove this once and I think I know how it feels. No, I want to drive it a bunch. I want to get comfortable with it. I want to have the multiple cars that I can get really comfortable with and really kind of push them to what I think is a reasonable limit on the street, and then be able to compare them and say, hey, yeah, you can spend 20 grand on this car, or you can spend 8 on this one, and at normal speeds that aren't going to put you in jail, you're going to have just as much fun. You know, maybe you don't need to worry about having something that everyone goes, oh, that's an awesome thing. You just need to have something that does the job, is fun, and it's enjoyable to you. I don't know. Anyway, different springs. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.